Welcome to our special interview with the candidate for the presidency of the European Parliament, Jerzy Buzek, a program in cooperation between Europal TV, the web TV service of the European Parliament, and Euronews. I'm Sergio Cantone from Euronews.
And I'm Christiane Brunner from Europal TV. Jerzy Buzek, you are a former Polish Prime Minister and you started the negotiations for the accession of your country to the European Union. Now you are the candidate of the European People's Party, the centre-right group in the European Parliament, for the presidency of the Parliament. What do you think will be the most important task or challenge you will have to deal with when you become president of the Parliament?
Thank you very much. This is, of course, a special time, certainly for me and also for countries which just over 20 years ago experienced a completely different system, communism. It's fresh in their minds, and the countries of Central and Eastern Europe will now be looking to the European Parliament, and their presence there will be something which brings the whole institution closer to the people. I believe that's going to be the message. I think that was spread to a great extent through the entire European Parliament, because our citizens have some difficulty in really getting their minds onto what is happening in Europe. That's why we're getting low voter turnouts, which are getting lower every 5 years.
Frekwencja nie jest najwyższa i spada co 5 lat.
So, Mr. Buzek, have you any idea on how to make the Parliament more attractive, especially after the low turnout of the last European elections?
My musimy zwrócić uwagę na to, co naprawdę
I think that we've got to pay attention to the issues which are close to our citizens, because people are interested in bread and butter issues, things which affect them on a daily basis, in their everyday lives. And lofty words, talking about the economic crisis or the energy crisis, people do not prick up their ears. If you talk about energy security and you say what that means, that in your apartment you will always have gas in your cooker, you will always have electricity in your sockets, that's exactly what we've got to do. We can bring new technologies, new things into the community. We can build infrastructures which will make sure that the gas gets into your house, your kitchen, and that electricity can get into your living rooms. You have to translate, if you like, because people, if they're driving, if they're motorists, will need energy, they need fuel. I think sometimes we get a bit lost up there in the stratosphere, and we have to bring things down to ground level.
What we see here in this race for the presidency of the Parliament, that's basically what people find it unattractive about Europe, that decisions and coalitions are made in the back rooms of the Parliament instead of in the full Parliament itself. We have no debates. We all know you will probably be the next president of the Parliament, but there was no fight about it and no drama, and I think that's what people want to see.
Thank you. In the member states' parliaments, I think the exact same things apply. You get an alliance, and each of the national parliaments will be doing that after the election. They have to negotiate to form a government. It's not immediately apparent what the alliance is going to be. They have to talk even after polling day has come and gone. And I think that's something which you get used to. One shouldn't think that it's going to be any different here, where I think things are the same. You have the results and nothing is automatic after that. People have got to find friends and allies. They've got to find like-minded people. And it's not simply that you're sitting watching the television and you know exactly what's going to happen afterwards. It's going to be a coalition. It's going to be an alliance. Not at all. You've got to have this debate. What kind of coalition you want? What has to be done to strengthen the community? Are we able to work together promptly and quickly so that European voters can see that the European Parliament is responsible and strong, and they want to know what they're getting with a coalition?
Don't you think that to be more attractive, this chamber should need more conflict eventually.
Yes, of course. You're quite right. And this, I think, confirms what I was saying earlier, because in the EPP group, we've got those conflicts as well. In the national parliaments, of course, you do that in big coalitions from the right to the left. When it comes to things like, do we need a major reform, you can get broad coalitions in member states as well. I think this is the kind of challenge we now have ahead of us, because we've got to get out of the crises, overcome the crises. You've got to solve the climate and energy crises. Migration can be a problem. We've got demographic problems and population growth. We have a big conference coming up in Copenhagen on the world's climate, which is of immediate concern for all of us. And those are areas where we've got to pack a punch.
Dla nas wszystkich, także te problemy powinniśmy załatwić wspólnie, dużą siłą uderzenia.
But what is the real role of a parliament? You mentioned a wide set of policies. What is the real role of a parliament?
The role of the parliament is definitely clear. It's set out in the Nice Treaty. And even before then, you realize that we have joint decision. We have the Commission, which has a special relationship with the European Parliament. We have powers over the budget, for example. If the Lisbon Treaty comes into force, we'll have a completely new situation. A far stronger European Parliament, first of all. Joint decision-making, joint law-making, real joint decision on the big issues. And the European Parliament will have the right of legislative initiative, which is some considerable change. And that, I think, will mean that the Parliament is entitled to solve certain problems of the Union.
To jest zasadnicza zmiana. Będziemy mogli sami proponować z Parlamentu Europejskiego najważniejsze rozwiązania dla Unii Europejskiej.
We are drawing the debate to a close. It's on July 14th that the European Parliament will elect its new president, and probably it will be the man you met here right next to us. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Thank you.